She writes about in the book, she got a big kick when the president said that about her. She said, he said I was gorgeous. I go, a lot of people think that about you, Ms. Tyson. News of her death prompted an outpouring of tributes last night. Viola Davis and Regina King called Cicely Tyson a trailblazer for black women in show business. Tyson gave many memorable performances in Roots, Sounder, and The Trip to Bountiful, which won her a Tony Award, by the way. She was 88 at the time. We spoke with Tyson last Thursday at the Abyssinian Baptist Church. That's in Harlem. That's her church home. And she talked about the obstacles that she's overcome, her dedication to acting, and discovering her calling. So here we sit in 2021. You still enjoy acting after all of these years.
If I read a role that has something to say that I want to express, that it allows me to speak.
And as a little girl, this was painful to me to read. You didn't feel beautiful as a little girl.
Oh, I know I wasn't, because I was skinny. That's number one. And I was black. That was number two. And I was nappy-headed. Okay.
But then as life turns out, life has other plans for you.
I was walking down Fifth Avenue, and someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, who's your agent? And I said, agent for what? And he said, you're a model, aren't you?
Had you thought about modeling? Were you interested in modeling?
I didn't know what modeling was.
Inspired by that encounter on Fifth Avenue, Tyson enrolled in modeling school. And it wasn't long before her beauty and poise landed her in catalogs and magazine covers like Ebony. The journey to stardom was not an easy one for Tyson, who became pregnant when she was 17 and had a short marriage that lasted just over 2 years. Tyson began her acting career as a single mother, a choice that brought conflict at home.
My mother, I don't know what she wanted me to be. She thought that I was going to live in a den of iniquity, because we grew up in the slums, okay? Lots of prostitutes walking up and down the street. And that's all she knew about movies.
But she changed her mind, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, you know, the first thing I did was at the Y. I invited her. I went backstage to remove makeup and hair, and then I come out. My mother's standing at the door with all these people around her, congratulating her. And she said, yes, ever since she was a little girl, you know, she liked to sing and dance. Are you serious?
Tyson made her on-screen debut at 31 in the 1956 film Carib Gold. Shortly after that, she enrolled in an acting school run by Paul Mann, a well-known acting coach. She found herself alone with him after her first class.
He said, excuse me, Miss Tyson, I'd like to talk to you. So I turned around and came back, and before I know it, he pulled me down.
And he was touching you and groping you?
Yes. No, what he wanted me to do was something worse than that. I thought about the whole incident when I got home. And, you know, I never shed a tear about that until this moment.
All these years later, it still affects you that way.
The whole thought that you could go out innocently to achieve something, and it turns out to be something so vulgar and coarse and demeaning to you as a young black woman. But I made up my mind then that I went there for a reason, and that reason had not changed.
It sounds like a Me Too incident before we were even calling it Me Too. And some people would say, but why did you go back? And to that you say,
I went back to get what I was told I needed in order to achieve what I wanted. And I think of the many young black women who go through that and are devastated by it, and it kills their dream. I was not going to let that happen to me.
Through her sheer determination, her talent blossomed and landed Tyson the headlining role of Rebecca in Sounder.
You got you a low-life job, Mr. Sheriff.
The 1972 film about a black sharecropper family.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, sir.
And a conversation with a white journalist about the movie pushed Tyson to find new purpose in her calling. And so you're promoting Sounder. A reporter said to you
that he felt a bit of bigotry in himself while he was watching the movie. When I asked him why so, he said, I was uncomfortable about your older son referring to his father as Daddy. I said, do you have children? What do they call you? He said, they call me Daddy. And I thought, my God, this man is thinking that we're not human beings. And I made up my mind that I could not afford the luxury of just being an actress, and that I would use my career as my platform.
Namely, you want black people to be seen as human beings.
That's right.
What gives you hope as you sit here today when you're thinking about black women?
What hope is there today?
Yeah.
One of the things in my day was that, black women never really talked to each other about helping each other out. If we got a call for a job, we would run and hide. We were afraid it would be taken away from us. And I see that we're opening up to each other and we're working together, and that's what we need. In unity, in only unity, there is strength.
Tyson came up among a generation of black artists who exemplified black excellence. But beyond their impact on American culture, they were held together by the deep bonds of friendship. And she reflected on their loss over the years.
All of those friends that I was so close with, they were all gone, and what am I doing here?
Does it scare you? Do you even think about death?
Oh, I think about it. Of course I think about it.
Do you?
Well, of course I think about it. My mother, who was full of sayings, would say, you come here to go there, okay? And so I know it's inevitable. I think about what I've done since I've been here. Why am I here so long?
I'll ask you this. What does it feel like to be 96 and a legend, Miss Legend?
I don't belittle it at all. I'm amazed every single day I live.